This is a subject matter I thought I would never be talking about. I've never had that much interest in the Indian culture. The whole Ayurvedic thing, I knew of it, chakras, those type of things. I mean, who hasn't heard of that, right? But I never thought I would be talking about it. And really, I'm still going to be indirectly talking about a very, popular subject matter. But I think very seldomly is it explored thoroughly. And what is this thing I'm talking about? Well, Kundalini. Now, if you know me, I've been a Chinese medical practitioner for 18 years, graduated from the Academy for 5-Element Acupuncture in Florida. And that's my game, right? Chinese medicine and all those things that go with it. However, I had a friend of mine, longtime friend, 25 plus years ago, studied martial arts with him in Nashville, Tennessee, and I hadn't seen him for years, really. I don't live in Nashville anymore. And he sometimes pops up on my videos and things that we do. And he said, hey man, how come you haven't popped? I popped? You know, your Kundalini hasn't arisen and locked in as permanent. I would see it around your head for sure if you had that going on, and you don't. How's that not happen for you? I said, I don't know. Give me more information. So he tells me, hey, I did this in 2013. I had someone do an attunement. That's what some of you might understand it to be, an attunement. And it stirred the snake. It got the snake aggravated. What does that mean by the snake? For those of you who don't know what this Kundalini thing is. Well, when you're conceived, there is energy, this explosion of life, right? That has an aspect of it stored in the base of your spine. And this energy stays there the majority of your life, for most people, undisturbed, dormant. And it only really resurges again upon your death. So you go a whole entire lifetime, however long that is, and all this potential life-giving energy is sitting dormant in the base of your spine. Except when the Kundalini starts to rise. And so this rising Kundalini is something you can then access, and it enriches your life, it empowers you, it rewires your whole entire system. This friend of mine described it as going from 110, which is what we use in the States for most of our appliances, to 220. Well, that's a doubling, right? And this rewiring is quite the experience. Now, when you are involved in certain energetic practices, you become attuned to feeling that part of the bandwidth of insane bandwidth, right? Of what's possible. However, when you tune into a different bandwidth, or part of the bandwidth, you change your focus, you can start to learn how to feel different things that you were totally missing before. Now, I knew in this friend of mine, I could feel that what he was describing was true because I could feel this buzzing sensation in his body that I don't normally feel in people. And it was always there. And it intrigued me. I could tell there was something going on in him that I didn't have going on inside of me, and he had me hooked. So we talked on the phone for a couple of hours one night. I could feel it strongly in him whenever he was talking. I could even feel some of it in my own body after that conversation, during and after the conversation was over. So I went to Nashville, and he did this process on me to activate that snake, that dormant energy in the base of my spine. Now, I didn't feel anything when he did it, and I was disappointed, not in him, but in me. I'm like, crap, I'm so not tuned into that part of the bandwidth, I couldn't even feel it. Dang it, right? So I go home hoping that something happens, because I didn't have any sign that it was going to in the process of him doing that. I'm sitting on the sofa one night with Angel, we're watching something, and all of a sudden it feels like a little mouse has crawled into one of the erectors along my spine, those muscles along your spine. It's like one side, the right side, this little mouse goes up my spine. I was like, whoa! Angel goes, what happened? I said, I think maybe the snake is awake. Or in this case, it felt like a mouse. And it moved up my spine quickly. And then that was interesting. And I would have these little flutters and things going on along my spine every so often. And well, it was quite an experience, but nothing big yet, right? Well, one night I'm lying there on my side, and I've been asleep a while. I'm probably coming out of a deep sleep, and suddenly I have this massive firing of energy up from my tailbone all the way over the top of my head and into sorry about my camera, I don't know why it's doing this. It's refocusing elsewhere whenever I put my hands in the air. And so it's got this lit up inside of my body. And I come out of that deep state of meditation, out of sleep, and I'm like, whoa, okay, now that that I felt, that was crazy. And it had lingering effects, probably lasted for 3 minutes. I mean 3 minutes, no, not 3 minutes. The initial hit was probably 3 or 4 seconds. But the lingering of it, like little popping up in my body, was happening in different places over time. Now, I'm reading a few things about the experiences of people who go through Kundalini Rising, Kundalini Awakening, and I'm seeing that most people have like electrical sensations or fire, that type of thing. And some people, mainly women, have champagne bubble feelings coming up their spine. Like champagne bubbles, well, that would be nice. Well, guess what I was feeling? Champagne bubbles, that's right. I was having the experience that most women have, not usually men. So that's been most of my experience for the last 2.5 months, no, almost 3 months, is this feeling of, like massive champagne bubbles moving up my spine and in different parts of my body. And then I would bring that around and have it loop around my body, and it would just cause quivering everywhere. But it's always this vibration, which is mentioned a lot by people, but specifically kind of like champagne bubbles. Now, one night, I did have the electrical fiery feeling move up my spine for a few minutes, and that was the first time, only time I've had that distinctive feeling. So what's the point of all this, right? Why am I telling you this? Well, I want to make a video journal of my journey because it isn't permanent yet. And over time, I would have these specific occurrences that I could not control when it happened. It would just pop up first month or two. And I was happy to have them. I was excited, right? Something's going on. And with this came a lot of memories of things I hadn't thought about in a while, or emotions coming up, or me feeling irritable, or like I wanted to be by myself, like I was overstimulated, like I'd taken tons of coffee. And then one day I realized my body, if I was just still, seated or standing, I could feel a hum going on in my body all the time. And it's never stopped since. It just hums all the time. In fact, I'm habituating to it to the point now, if I don't have a surge, I don't even notice it much unless I tune into it. It's just always there, which is what happens when we have sensations that are ongoing. If you have them all the time, if it's not horrible pain, you can habituate to it and not even notice it anymore. So that's what's been going on with that constant hum. Now, I do a Qigong form called Pangu Shengong. I've done it for 18 years. I teach it, moving form, non-moving form, advanced forms of it. And I have to tell you, when I would do the Qigong form, after about a month or so, I noticed that when I was doing it, there were electrical sensations in my body doing that form. Well, for me, that's not common. It's never been about electricity in my body when I do the Qigong form. Many other sensations, but not electrical. And now, it's always has an electrical edge to it when I do the Qigong form that I've done for 18 years. When I do the non-moving form, it feels like my head is vibrating almost violently. Not painfully, but just like, oh my gosh, if somebody's watching me do the non-moving form, can they see my head vibrating and shaking? It's what it feels like. Not always, but sometimes. And my treatments have now changed in their quality. People are getting electrical sensations, some, in their bodies when I'm treating them. They become more pointed, more physical in their impact. So this is changing my Qigong form and changing my treatments. I would dare say, don't know this, but I would dare say it's also changing the way I'm experiencing this Kundalini rising sensation. Now, if I can lie down, especially, not seated as much, I know, right? Not there, but lying down on my side, I can slip into this Kundalini movement. I can instigate that movement and the strong sensations. I can do it within usually 5 to 10 minutes. The later at night I wait, the easier it is to call it up. and it'll happen. When I do the Qigong form now, my latest endeavor is to be able to do the Qigong form and intend for that energy of the Qigong that it's cultivating, yin and yang, to move up through my spine and join and activate that Kundalini energy while I'm standing, so I can feel all of that vibration and champagne bubbles and whatever else may come, will join that and get moving through my body in a much more exaggerated rate. Because again, the ultimate goal is for this to become permanent. And from the reading I've done online and in different books, a permanent state of Kundalini locked in, or it's always on, is a rare thing. Not many people in the world have that happen. A lot of people have Kundalini symptoms. Some seek it and it happens. Some it happens just on its own, spontaneously. In my case, of course, I've had it deliberately stirred up inside of me, and then I am trying to reach the state of it being always on. This friend of mine tells me that once it finally comes online permanently, I will be going through what's called the dark night of the soul. So all the things I haven't worked on, all the things I've suppressed, all the impacts and shocks and traumas in my life will all start moving to the surface in a very rapid rate, and I may start feeling like I'm going to lose my little mind. Because apparently a lot of people who go through a Kundalini awakening and it becomes permanent, especially, they do slip into psychosis, right? Schizophrenia and so on. And they don't come back from that. I have no fear that that's going to happen because of my laying the groundwork through the Qigong over the years and other work I've done inside. Not saying I've uncovered all my demons. I'm certain I have not. But I believe I have, I'm in good hands, and this friend of mine, of course, who's inducted me into this world of Kundalini lock-in permanency, is going to also guide me through it as well. So this is my little video diary. I'm doing this, of course, as more self-exploration, and as this friend of mine tells me, and he showed me by being able to bend and train and bend fire and smoke, yeah, I saw it firsthand. Many other gifts come with it, and an exaggeration of who you really are becomes greater. And I want that. I want the core, my pure essence, to be more fully expressed in this life, and that's the ultimate reason I want to do it, because I'm an explorer and I want to leave nothing, no stone unturned, no true opportunity unexplored before I reach my deathbed. I want to bring it all to light, implement all of it I can, and become all I can be. No, not by joining the army, but by exploring these energetic paths. Thank you for watching this first episode. I will be making many more. As new things come to light and new realizations are made, I'll be making more installments. Thank you for watching.